Hi everyone, and welcome to my very first reading journal setup that I'm going to be sharing with you. This is going to be the setup that I'm doing for April. It's the first one that I'm sharing, so I'm a bit nervous, but we're just going to jump in. The way you're seeing this right now, you're already getting a little bit of a sneak peek into which readathons I'm going to be doing this month. I actually do like a good readathon. They've been really inspiring me to read a lot more this year. I think I'm already up to 16 books, and I think last year that was definitely not the case. So I've been looking for readathons to help inspire me and see if I can read more than I did last year. So the first thing that I'm putting in here is the Resetathon. The Resetathon is a readathon that's been organized by Hermie at the Book Hermit and Beatrice over at Beatrice's Book Nook. I like this one because it's got a lot of different categories. It's got a spring category, it's got a mental health category, and obviously a book category. And so this is just me writing all of the prompts down that they made. As you can see on the little cutout that I made. Ooh, there are my little baby hairs. First video, so there's gonna be some mistakes in there. So these are, this is a readathon that you can see has a bit of a Tetris type of thing. And the colors of the titles that I'm making are the colors of the blocks that I'll be using for the prompt that I have completed. So say that I complete a book prompt, I will use the color, I think it's orange, an orangey type of color that I selected. You can find all of the Tombow dual brush pens that I have down at the bottom in the description below, because I know that a lot of people want to see what has been used. Now, here on the back of all of that, this is me showing the Tombow. On the back of this little cutout that I made are the book prompts. Now I had to try and do teeny tiny writing because I'm going to be trying to add the title of the book that I used to complete the prompt. So don't really know how that's gonna work. Don't really know if I'm going to have enough room, but we're gonna give it a go. It's one of those things where we're just gonna have to see how it turns out. Also, if you want to join this readathon, I did link the Book Hermit and Beatrice's Book Nook's channel in the description below. Please do check out their channels. They both have a little bit of an announcement video explaining how this Resetathon is different from the last one. The last one I just missed, but this is going to be the first year that I'm going to be joining. And it looks like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I think the fact that we have some mental health sprinkled in, as well as some spring activities, as well as reading. I think now that we are going to be getting into the second quarter of the year, it's always a nice thing to actually reset and kind of reflect on how the start of the year has gone. Whether we're happy with it or not, it doesn't really matter. It's a good thing to just take stock and take care of ourselves. Some of the prompts are just also extremely fun. It's all about planting something and getting flowers and going for a walk, doing some journaling, doing some movement. There will be sprints on both Hermit's channel and Beatrice's channel, so definitely check those out if you're someone who enjoys those. I know that Beatrice is just going to be doing chatty ones, I think, and Hermit, I think, has said that she's going to be doing walk and talks, which is, I think, a really lovely way to inspire people to do some really easy movement. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's the first year I said that I'm joining, but I have been following Hermit's journey a little bit on her channel. And I think that what she's doing and how they did all of this is actually quite perfect. So it's an amazing readathon, in my opinion, that serves a dual purpose. Mental health is something that I'm really passionate about as well, so the fact that this also has a bit of that is exactly perfect and fits me amazingly. Now you're going to be seeing how I set up my monthly every single month. This is a part of the setup that hasn't changed ever since I started this journal. This journal, by the way, is an Archer and Olive journal. It's the first one I ever got, and it's also the first square notebook that I've ever gotten. So it was a lot of new things for me when this first got set up, but I've been loving it so far. I don't think that it's a surprise to anybody that Archer and Olive are amazing quality notebooks. So as you can see on the left side here, I made a section to write down all of my reads that I'm doing or that I've read that month. And on the right hand side, I put all of the challenges that I'm doing, buddy reads, and also the Hermiville book. Hermiville is the member space of the Book Hermit. I am a member of her channel, and I don't think that we have a read or a book for this month yet, but when I'm setting this one up. But anyway, as you can also see, I'm also doing the Faithfallalong from Becca's books, which is basically we read the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. I'm also obviously doing the Buzzword challenge. I'm doing both of the boards, so the cover and the book challenges. I don't know why, I just did. And then I do already know that for the buddy reads, I'm going to be reading Iron Flame, but that's right now the only book that I know I'm going to be reading. And obviously, the next part of this whole setup is going to be the Aurelium Readathon challenge. This is not the first year that I've been doing this, but over the past couple of years, I think the past 2 years, I do feel like I've kind of dropped off and didn't really feel as invested as I should with my character that I created. If you don't know what the magical readathon is, it's basically a readathon that was created by G over at the Book Roast. It's an amazingly creative readathon. I do really suggest that you do check it out. It will also be linked in the description box down below. I think it's the 5th year that she's doing this, and it's an amazing readathon that she does. I think right now what we're doing is the spring equinox, and then we also have a autumn equinox that's going to be either in August or September. But this is basically me setting up all of the pages right anew for this year. I created an entirely new character. Her name is Flux. I am completely in love. She is hold on, I have to make sure that I get this right. She's Iltyrian, and she was actually found, I think she was in my story that I've created, she was a foundling in Artheria, and she was found by Earthlings. She doesn't know where she came from, she doesn't know how she got there, but this is what has happened. As you can see, I have already filled out some of the little things that I know about her, which is that she's going to be in the Order of the Crescent, which is the guild that she's going to be in, and we're going to be studying to become a demonologist, I think, given her background, wanting to figure out where she came from and what actually happened. And in my head, there might be some demonic activity that happened around the same time that she was found. So that was basically my whole thing in choosing to be a demonologist. Anyway, what you're seeing here is me also deciding which books fit the prompts. I only decided to redo this whole thing when I watched the video for the spring equinox of this year. So I didn't really read anything special. I just looked at the books that I already read this year and see which one fit the prompts. I was very lucky because all of the prompts that I wanted to read or needed to read for the story that I had in mind, I had one for every single prompt. So that just completely worked out that way. For her background, I think I needed to read something in an urban setting, so that was Mile High. For her province, I needed to read something with Fae people in there, so that was Mountains Made of Glass. And then for her heritage, I needed to read something that was mainly a red cover, and that was Phantasma, which was an entirely different journey reading that book. What you're going to be seeing now is me setting up her guild. Like I said, this readathon is incredible. It's incredibly detailed. A guild is basically, if you're thinking, because this was usually a Harry Potter readathon, but we do not speak of who writes those, so she morphed them into this one, into the world of Aurelium. So instead of houses, we now have guilds. And my character basically read for, or when I did the sorting or the little journey, I found out that I was going to be in the Order of the Crescent. Now we also get, with the Order of the Crescent, we also got a conduit and we also got a legacy little add-on. Luckily, I had only one book, or I had one book that fit both of those. I did not pick a conduit that fit only the Order of the Crescent because I just felt like she was a sword girly. And a sword is one that is a conduit that anyone could have chosen. So I gave her a sword. And I think it's going to be quite a good thing to have when you run into some demons. And then as a legacy, she does get an animal familiar. Now, what you do not know yet about me, because this is the first video of me you're ever going to watch, is I love animals. So that was another big plus. Now, in this book, we have a crow or a wolven, and I'm not quite sure which one I want to pick as a familiar. In the whole description of being a Iltyrian, it does say that crows, or I think ravens, are animals that are very much linked to that, to those people, so might go with that. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see what we get. Now, obviously, before we can get to the school, we need to go on a little journey. And that little journey, G called the Novice Path. You have to pass a very few, I think 7. You have to pass 7 different stops along the way. Each of them have a different or a kind of prompt. Now, obviously, I was very happy. I was actually really nicely surprised that I didn't need to use any of the books again that I already used. I was able to pick new books for every single one, which was actually quite amazing. So obviously the Novice Path entrance needed to have a map in it, so Valor was the one. Faithfallalong came in clutch there. Ashthorn Tree was, I think, a book that has been kind of, been tempting you, so that was the right move. I'm actually in the middle of reading the whole series once again. Then we have Mist of Solitude, which was a standalone, which I decided to be my December darling. Then Ruin of the Sky was a thriller or a haunted house, which was We Used to Live Here. I read that and kind of freaked out a little bit while I was reading it because my light decided to give out on me, and anyway, it was not fun, but it was fun. You know, it's one of those. And then obviously Obsidian Falls was Pretty Little Liars. I do not know which prompt that was. Tower of Rumination was Kingdom of Ash, and the Aurelium Academy arc, which had to be a school setting, I did end up choosing the final Harry Potter book. I listened to the audiobooks for the first time in my life. They were on Storytel, which is the app that I use to listen to my audiobooks. And I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna listen to those. And that was the last one I listened to, obviously, because it's the last one in the series. And I actually really like those. Stephen Fry has an amazing voice. And now on to the final 2 pages that I'm gonna have to be setting up, which are for the spring equinox of 2025. Once again, this notebook or this journal ends up being absolutely perfect because I have room to fit both the demonologist little sheet and the sheet of the syllabus for this spring equinox, which shows all of the prompts that I'm gonna be needing. For the career that I chose, which is the demonologist, once again, I need to read 6 books and they all have their own little prompt. So I need to read for Conjuration, which is a random country generator for the author. Then for demonology, I need to read a book with a missing person. For elemental study, I need to read a book with fruit on the cover. For spells and incantations, I need to read a book with a word from your last book title. And then for lore, it's a musical term in the title, and for shapeshifting, it's a dragon in the title, on the cover, or in the story. Now, I already have a few of the books picked out, but not all of them. I did make a little bit of a Storygraph challenge for the spring equinox, which is going to be linked in the description down below, because I need inspiration and I need help. So I did add all of the prompts and all of the classes that you can take, just so we can help everybody out. But yeah, that's basically gonna be it for me today. So we're just gonna have a little bit of a flip through all of my setup of April here. And yeah, with that, my first video is now officially up. I think this is gonna be my first one anyway. I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. It was a bit scary, but I had a lot of fun. If you would like to, please like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for being here. Bye!